Hello. So, here's the deal. I was just sitting here thinking about what it's like to be me, and a thought came to mind. And that thought was what people perceive versus the truth. So, let's talk about it in pieces. First things, let's talk about what the visual perspective is. People see a confident woman who is confident in her beauty because she is beautiful. But that's not the reality of it, right? This is the reality of it. I was beautiful, buried, made to look ugly, and became invisible, denied my own beauty because it made other people feel uncomfortable, covered up my own beauty because I couldn't be seen, because every time I was seen, I drove people crazy. I wasn't forced into confidence through beauty. I was forced into confidence for finally accepting that the effect that I have on people is not my fault. That's where my confidence comes from, not from being a pretty face. Because I have been a pretty face my whole life, and I've been very much ignored. I've walked into rooms where every single person stared at me and not a single person talked to me. It isn't confidence built through knowing one is beautiful. It is confidence being built when I was so ashamed of my own beauty that I hated it. And I hid it. I saw it as a problem, not as a good thing. And confidence comes from learning to live in my own shine without blaming myself for how people respond to it. People see joy and happiness exuding from me 99% of the time and just assume I have lived a carefree, beautiful life, maybe even sheltered. And they see my optimistic viewpoint on life as naivety and blindness. But the truth is I had to learn how to find joy in my own self because I was always isolated. No one celebrated with me. No one celebrated my wins. No one celebrated my successes. No one celebrated my debuts. They were all downplayed. Every gift, every blessing was all to look like a burden. The sadness that enveloped my entire life, the depths of my own despair from my dreams not coming true and having to live day in, day out with a mask on my face of happiness, while inside my fire was slowly dying. So I started to learn how to stoke my own fire. I started to learn how to enjoy my own jokes and laugh louder than everybody else in the room because my jokes are what kept me alive for years when all I wanted to do was cry. This joy is not from naivety or blindness. It is from understanding how bleak the world becomes if we stop celebrating ourselves. The joy that bursts forth from me on a daily basis is because I have learned to appreciate the things that make my heart smile, like a pretty little yellow flower amidst the grass even if it is a dandelion. It's yellow. It's beautiful. And then to see the seeds right next to it fly in the wind is even more beautiful. And I find joy in that. Because the wonderful, amazing, glorious things I did brought no joy to anyone around me. The stories I told, the acting I did, the singing I did, the dancing I did, approved and loved and adored by every other person except for the people closest to me. So I learned how to celebrate me and the beauty that everybody else overlooks. People see a person who dives very deep and flies very high into the intellectual world, and how I can link the two in such an intricate, nicely braided, weaved web that it makes sense. But it's intimidating and intense because I learned how to speak in a way that people don't understand, and with a depth that most people can't bear. Because I grew up reading the dictionary and classic literature. I didn't speak the language of other children because they didn't like me. I didn't speak like them. I wasn't interested in the things they were interested in. So I was isolated. And that depth that I swam in all on my own through literature, diving into language, and then diving deeper and deeper into more and more things, all on my own with no one to celebrate with, no one to share it with. All it was me looping thought after thought after thought in a spiral way that grew upon growing and grew more and deeper. And the intensity of the depth and the downloads or the information isn't from 6 months to 2 years of diving into spiritual texts and nonsense like that. I don't do that often. Most of everything that I know, understand, and see is from deep reflection that I have done for 41 years by myself. People see how kind I am and yet how closed off I am, and see this humongous difference and don't understand why. How I can be so kind to a stranger and keep people that are close to me at more than arm's reach. My love is free. I give freely because I lived a life where I was the one that never received that love. I was the one on the playground who had no friends. And I was in a book because no one knew how to talk to me. I knew what it was like to be deathly lonely. And so it doesn't matter to me who you are. I will give you every moment that I have in your life and give you absolute light and love until until it's not reciprocated. Until the depth is too much pressure. Until the intelligence is too much intensity. Until I speak beyond what they can understand, and then I pull back. Because that is always the relationship ender. When I dive into depths. When I show the full entirety of me that has been building slowly but surely in silence for so long. The dreams I had when I was a child, buried like a treasure chest, in a way, germinating like a seed. And the longer it was buried, and the more treasures I found as I was digging, the fuller and fuller my treasure chest became, till I could no longer close the lid, and I had to come out of the hole with an entire treasure chest full of information, wisdom, and understanding. This is a lot for people, especially living, I don't want to say an ordinary life, but living that life of go to school, go to college, get married, have kids, be successful, die, repeat. I didn't live that life. I didn't want to live that life. I have the blood of nomads and explorers and truth seekers. So, what you may see on the surface, and this is true for any situation, by the way, what you may see on the surface could very well just be a reflection of self. And in dark, murky waters, sometimes you can't tell just how deep it goes. You can only tell it's deep because of the depth of the color. My soul is not black because I survived the intense pressures of the depths and came out still shining. The things that most people would consider a gift, beauty, intelligence, and depth, were the things that kept me isolated, kept my gifts hidden, but it just allowed them to grow more and more. And the final product isn't even done. There's more to uncover because the horizon never ends. And beyond where we are right now, even at a cosmic level, there's more out there to explore. I feel really Star Trek-y right now saying that. Thank you, Star Trek. I love you. And all I can say is, the further we go, the more we see, the more we see, the more we understand that we don't understand. And that's what makes it so exciting. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.